All right, it says I'm live here. Let's see if you guys can actually hear me this time. I guess my microphone wasn't working, which is kind of funny because I was thinking I had the feeling that I should try out these headphones before I went live today, and I didn't. So yeah. Okay, let's just share out this link really quick. It is a really beautiful day here in Mount Shasta. Yay, working now, David D says. Okay, sweet. Hey Jay, how's it going? Perfect. I'm glad that the audio is working. Okay, let me just, like I was saying, reshare this to Facebook. Please say hi and chat. All right. Okay. So, what I was trying to say earlier is it's a beautiful day, but I have to leave here after we're done and go home and do a lot of digging, which I'm not exactly looking forward to. But I need to put in the actual work, the actual efforts to make my dreams come true. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about today, because ultimately, this reality that we are in is will based. Basically, whatever you will, you can accomplish. And there are multiple different wills trying to force their will on the situation. The powers that be are pretty united ultimately under Satan, the great deceiver, and his will for the world, and that is, really powerful that they are united ultimately against us, right? Humanity versus the other species that want to come against us. But we are ultimately, I keep saying ultimately, but we are ultimately under one dome. We are all in this together in a way. And if we can find a way to live in peace and harmony and not be farming each other, then that's what we need to do. I am not advocating it going to war with other species. I think we need to put down the weapons and stop fighting. And I also say that while being a goddess of war, like if there's going to be war, which there already is war, like let's go. But if we can, a better solution is to learn how to work together and live in peace and harmony, because all of us are living in the same world. So okay. So what how's it going? Hey Inanna, how are you doing? I am doing pretty well. It is a really beautiful day here, so I am kind of looking forward to getting out and enjoying some of the fresh air and sunshine. But not like I was saying, not looking forward to going and doing all of the digging. Kyle says, take two and scene. Yes. For those of you who don't know, I tried to go live just a few minutes ago and my headphones weren't working with the microphone. So, yes. Jay says to research. What should we research? Aspect 761 says pretty earrings. Thank you. I got them. This is the second pair of snowflake earrings that I got. I got one before Christmas. And then when I went down to San Diego, my friends wanted to go snowboarding, so we took their kids snowboarding. And in the middle of like trying to babysit and take care of the kids, one of my earrings fell out in the snow, and I couldn't find it. So on the way back, I had to get new ones. The other ones were a little bit less blingy than this one, so kind of happy for the upgrade. But that was the story of the earrings. I actually started using the nickname Snow. Like 2012 maybe. Um, it was at the time inspired by the show Once Upon a Time, the beginning scene where you see Snow White. She's like walking through this classroom of children, like holding this bird in her hands, and it just really resonated with me and who I am at like a soul level, or like having a bird in your hand and living in peace and harmony with the animals. So I really resonated with that aspect, but also being white as snow and being pure, something that my soul strives for. Even when I fail all the time, we always fail, all of us do, none of us are perfect. I still strive to be better. And, my ideal self, as I say all the time, is this, pure fruitarian who lives in harmony with what God essentially wanted. Because ultimately, the creator created the machine and he knows what's best for us. It's kind of sad that people are actually convinced that this amazing body that we're living in, these intricately designed, like, machines, right? They think that these are evolved somehow, like from essentially pond scum, right? There's been this evolution of creatures over time, and I've already posted before about how evolution is not even possible. Your DNA is constantly seeking to repair itself. When you get cut, when you get hurt, your body wants to heal you, and everything that we do during that time can either speed up the process or slow it down. And mainly it comes back to diet. When you're eating a bunch of junk and things that you're not supposed to eat, processed foods, flesh, eggs, cheese, whatever, you're basically slowing down the healing process. You're prematurely aging yourself. You're adding more injury to the injury, so it slows it down. I've read of people that are like raw vegan. If they get cut, it heals like within a matter of days, like really, really fast. So it's really going to be really cool to see in the future the difference in medicine, in medical care, when humans actually start to live according to God's will, and we're consuming the right diet. We're balancing between feasting and fasting. It's going to be really cool to see the complete difference in humanity in general, right? Right now, we have the majority, at least in this country, consuming the standard American diet. Sad, right? And they're what? They're overweight. They're depressed. They have cancer. They have heart disease. They have, diabetes. They have all of these issues, and it's because of what they're consuming from the time that you're born, right? The doctors are trying to tell your mom what you need to eat and when to introduce all of these solid foods and basically try to get you eating these things not as quickly as possible, but, get off the breast milk and hurry up and start eating bad things. Like how many kids get like these cakes for their first birthday? They're eating sugar. They're eating this processed crap even earlier than one, right? And I wonder why they have all of these diseases. It's because of that. And that becomes what is normal, right? The normal people have these types of issues. And the reason I'm kind of saying that, guys, sorry for this, but when it comes to like menstruation, we're taught that menstruation is normal. And that's because it's what the majority is doing. That's what becomes normal, is what the majority does, right? But when we're eating the proper diet, we're not going to have the same types of issues, and menstruation is right along with that. Hemorrhaging from any part of the body is not healthy. It's taxing on the body, and it doesn't happen when you're living God's way. So, Kyle says, digging in this weather. Yikes. No, Kyle, look at this. I'm not sure if you can, well, you should be able to see that. It's beautiful out here, so... Yes, I'm sitting in Starbucks again. I still have construction going on in my house. So, yeah, I'm going to be working. There's someone driving through the grass over there. Anyways, like I was saying, I'm going to be working on the outside today. I need to continue digging the septic lines and the lines that like the electrical wires and everything will go to the current house that I'm in. And upgrade that so that I can eventually have like a proper recording space with not all of this distraction, and it'll be really nice. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, but I have to get to it. So that's kind of, again, bringing back to the topic that I wanted to talk about today, and the fact that this reality is based on our will. We manifest what we want, and we have been asleep at the wheel and blindly going along with the powers that be and their their, essentially their life plan for us, right? Like you come out, you go through the uneducational system, you get a job, all the while you, there's a truck leaking something else. Like all the while eat what they say, you don't question anything, you just do what they, zombie path, right? We've been asleep and doing that for far too long. And that's one of the cool things about the awakening process. Like it can be really depressing to go through to find out that everything was a lie and discovering all of these lies, but we also discover the truth, and knowledge is power, right? We're taking back that power and being able to take control of the situation, to actually manifest something better. If we keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, don't they say that's what insanity is? So we have to do something different. And obviously, veganism, going vegan, that's what my shirt says, go vegan, is a major part of that. Like humans will never be free until we give others freedom. We don't deserve freedom, but when it comes to other things like actually building my house and doing all these things, I have to take concrete steps and actually do the work even if I don't want to do it. So it can be really frustrating and depressing and irritating to try to fight to change the world and manifest things. But it is possible. Anything is possible if you have the willpower. So I definitely encourage you to, do things that strengthen your will, whether it's fasting or, even doing like, maybe climbing a mountain might be something that might strengthen your will. Different things that will help to empower you. I definitely encourage you to do those things to become stronger. And I'm preaching to myself as well. I definitely struggle, especially with my food. I've said it so many times. I'm struggling right now with wanting to go and dig these trenches. I struggle when I'm constantly being lied about and attacked on Facebook, or other platforms, whatever, social media. It's definitely discouraging to be attacked, to be lied about, to be shadow banned, to have all of these things going against you. But I want to, try to help you see the light at the end of the tunnel and know that you're not alone in what you're going through with these things. And it is possible. So if we have that hope, that light at the end of the tunnel, we can keep going. I've said before, like the mother who is all physical matter, she'll let herself become this dark hell that we're experiencing now. But she needs that light at the end of the tunnel, which is a better world, something that's not this dark, depressing hell where every soul is being, well, I shouldn't say every soul is being tortured, but well, I mean, even if you think of the so-called elites that are, you can picture them as like having everything and all this stuff. I mean, they're still afflicted by demons too. So really everyone is being tortured to some extent. So yeah, the mother's feeling all of that, and we all need a hope and a reason to keep going. So that's where the golden age comes in. And unfortunately, it's not as easy as just snapping our fingers and things change. We actually have to be willing to do the work. I do, what I can do, and one of the reasons that I do the full moon celebrations on the mountain is because of this. You don't even know how many people randomly like either come down the mountain or up, and they're like, oh my gosh, like I was hungry and I was praying that there was gonna be like that we were gonna eat today, and then you're just here with this buffet like on the top of Mount Shasta. It's like they're not expecting it, and then I can tell them, why I'm doing what I'm doing. And essentially spread, I was going to say share and spread at the same time, spread the message, share the dream of the future with other people by doing that. And that's just one of the things that I'm trying to do. And so, yeah, let me check out the live chat. So what says, it looks like a beautiful day. It is. I can see it through the reflection in your eyes. Oh, thank you. Aspect 761 says, we got a break from all the snow and rain in Northern California. Yes. The ground looks a little bit wet, but yeah, it's really nice outside. And I think the ground is still a little bit wet from yesterday, so that'll be nice with digging. Like the ground where I'm at is very rocky, so it's not only hard to dig, but it's also not very favorable to grow things in. One of the people that I know who has lived here for like his whole life, maybe. Him and his family are considering moving to a different place because he said like the ground has become more and more hostile over time, and everything that they're doing, the spraying in the sky, the spraying of the plants and everything that they're doing is taking a toll on different parts of matter, and trying to create this scenario where we can't grow our own food and then cutting off the food supplies so that we're in this famine situation, making us desperate. They want us to be in their control, and that's one of the things that is planned for us in the future. The powers that be have their plan towards the new world order, and well, we are trying to manifest against them. And as I've said before, they're very united in their plans for the future. So we have to be as well. I know that the truth is very divisive. Um, there's just so many different topics that are contained within this, broad thing, and especially when the world is being programmed to accept the lie, to embrace the lie, to embrace degeneracy and improper lifestyles and ways about it. It's like it definitely becomes harder for us as a species to unite when all of these other topics are so divisive. But if we put away our own personal opinions and kind of accept the truth and agree that whatever the truth is, that's where we're all going to unite. We're going to leave all of our own personal opinions and beliefs aside. I think that would be ideal and the most powerful thing that we can do. Maybe a little bit of wishful thinking, but we're definitely there's a lot of change that's going around under the dome in general, some good, some bad. But veganism, for instance, is like the statistics are continuing to rise, and someday we will be a majority. There's mainly these older generations that are holding on to their lifestyles and refusing to change, and eventually their habits are going to kill them off, and those of us who do not do what they do are going to be left standing, and that means that we get to finally make a world that's better. I've tried to tell people, like, you're literally holding us back from making a better world. Like, you think that, like, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind on this world? Because if you are one of these animal eaters, especially a farmer who's like doing the raping of the cows and all of this stuff, like, the animals are going to cheer when you leave. It's going to be like, holy cow, finally you're gone. Like, now we can finally have a better world. Is that really like the legacy that you want to leave behind? Obviously, when you are a good person, the evil ones are going to cheer when you leave, but I really don't. That's not who I'm concerned about. At least I can't speak for you, but I am way more concerned about the innocent, those helpless. There's a little doggy outside. The helpless creatures that can't speak for themselves and defend themselves. Like, when I die, I want them to mourn that a hero for them is not here any longer. Not rejoice that their abusers are finally dead. So, if you are a non-vegan that's listening to my voice now, please consider, the fact that you're holding us all back from making a better world because you can't stop putting dead flesh into your mouth like a zombie. Kyle says, lucky. I'm not here. Snow, rain, and gloomy weather. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I am expecting more of that, coming soon, though. This whole like spring and summer in the middle of winter is really bizarre and definitely helps to like throw people's systems off, to try to help make us sick. I've already talked about before, the germ versus terrain theory, and how the powers that be basically want you to choose one side or the other, when in reality both sides have truth to them. These viruses that they're making in genetic engineer labs, they do cause problems. Like they will make you sick if your terrain is dirty, right? So if you do what you need to do to keep yourself clean, which is primarily your diet, then your body's going to be able to fight off any diseases, any viruses, any cancers that come your way. So it's both things are true. You don't need to pick one or the other. So yeah, fasting, grounding, and eating the right food is what I recommend. Definitely do not take any jabs. Do not, like, the best thing that you could do is avoid the medical industry at all costs, because medical malpractice is what they're taught. They go through the schooling system. Big pharma essentially determines what they learn, how they learn, and what they're taught is to prescribe you pills, to chop you up, to take body parts out, to put fake things in like pacemakers, to do all of these unhealthy things. When, like I said before, your body's a self-healing machine. It wants to return to normal, to fully functioning, to healthy. So the doctors aren't working in line with that truth. They're not taught these things. And to revisit the point that I didn't even finish earlier, evolution is literally not possible because your DNA is self-healing. It's trying to return to normal. When genetic engineers want to manipulate DNA, it has to be broken, first of all. Like, you can't manipulate healthy DNA. You have to get in there and crack the code in various manners to be able to put transgenic elements into the DNA. And even once you get the transgenic elements into the DNA, over time, that DNA will actually spit out those modifications. This is why Monsanto doesn't allow people to reuse their seeds year after year. They send out new fresh seeds because the modifications will reverse over time. So yeah, to keep these, just so that the genetic engineers have to put things under artificial selective pressure to keep the transgenic elements in, or else this happens, and that doesn't exist in real life. So, outside of the lab, obviously, it is. What happens in the genetics lab is real life too, but I meant like outside in nature. So this whole concept of evolution, like your DNA turning in from like a monkey DNA to a human DNA, it's just literally not possible. So yeah, earlier I was trying to talk about how this amazing body is not evolved. Okay. Hey, Cap Fortuna, how's it going? I'm missing a little bit of the live chat. Hey, Mike, how are you? Snow in Northern California, yes. David D says it's exactly like the movie They Live. Humans have been asleep, programmed by these demonic creatures. Yeah, it is exactly like the movie They Live. And once you have the eyes to see, the monsters that they're actually seeing are the inverts. And literally, that's why I always, like, pretty much every video I'm banging on about inverts and how important it is. I run multiple transvestigation groups, and I myself have blasted the internet with all of my biomarkers to prove who I am, because it's so important to differentiate between the two, because this world is literally run by inverts. The Truman Show, how it has all these actors around Truman, in the real reality, these are your inverts. They're the ones that are, in the They Live movie, they're like shopping and having real humans like bring out their bags and serve them, and like influencing the real humans and trying to do all this stuff. So it is very interesting, truth in plain sight video. That's literally what's going on all around us. So yeah, once we all start having the eyes to see, like I've said before, like, for instance, Trump, when real humans start to realize that Trump is an invert, they stop trusting him, because real humans don't trust inverts. Like, unless you're broken, of course. There are some broken ones out there that will, but I found that the ones that go on the posts saying, who cares, are the inverts, and they're basically trying to get you not to care. They want you to accept all forms of degeneracy they want you to accept people lying to you, because that's fundamentally what inversion is. When you present yourself to the world as the opposite sex, that is a lie, because that is not what you are. I'll probably get dinged for hate speech or something, but yeah, it's a lie, and they want us to accept all of these things. They'll show you a book and say, this isn't a book, this is a trash can. They'll try to convince you, and they'll have 20 people come in, 20 of them swarm in and say, trash can, trash can, trash can. If you think that's a book, you're an idiot. They'll do all of these different manipulation tactics on every different type of truth or subject, just to cause issues, to spread confusion, to try to convince us real humans of their lies. And that's kind of what they do to me as well. They'll post a picture of my clearly V-shaped clavicle and then say straight male clavicle. It's like, anyways. Yes, it snows a ton in Northern California every year. Speaking of images of Mount Shasta, I actually started reading the Mount Shasta book that David D requested. I had bought it in a bookstore a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago. And I am putting together a pre-made video so that I can show you like pictures of Mount Shasta and other information that goes along with the video. I was working on it all day yesterday, but I didn't get it put out. So I do need to do that when I go home as well. So what? Yeah, Northern California gets really quite cold, and Southern California is where it's warm. But really, I mean, I guess it is comparative, right? Because if you compare it to actual warm places, it's really not that warm. But it's also kind of funny that like people that live in cold areas will go down there and it's hot, and like the same temperature can be like hot or cold depending also on which way the seasons are changing too. It's kind of an interesting, facet of our perception. All right. Kyle says people really enjoy their cow secretions. I know. Tell me about it. I used to say I could never go vegan because I could never give up cheese. And well, it turns out that you don't need cheese, but there are so many good vegan cheeses. I watched I'm not promoting this documentary because it has perversions in it and it's inverts like usual. But the Netflix series that says you are what you eat, the creator of Mayoko, is that how you say it? Was interviewed, and they did a lot of stuff with their some footage of like their cheese making and stuff. But anyways, they promoted that, that liquid mozzarella that they make. Anyways, the local store has been selling that for like cheap, and it is so freaking good. I can't even express to you like how addicted I am to vegan cheeses. And so yeah, there's a lot of great ones out there that I would highly recommend, including that one. Cat Fortuna says power vacuums prevail. Please help. Yeah, I need to find a better place to record. So what says I guess I gotta stay away from Mount Shasta then? No, everyone should at least visit Mount Shasta once. It is the root chakra of Mother Earth. And if you do want to come visit, I would recommend coming during one of my full moon celebrations so that we can hang out under the full moon around a giant fire. You can try my homemade food and it'll be a good time. We can flat smack all the people that come. What are we saying here in the live chat? I'm going to get off of here relatively soon so that I can go get my work done. But I guess I will go back to the topic of the video, which is manifesting our reality. Hey, the Israelite, how are you? Raw fruitarian diets are the best way to feel healthy and stay healthy. I agree, yes. Back to the topic of the video, which is manifesting our reality. Anything that we want to accomplish, we can do if we set our minds to it. And even the Bible verse that, says where two or three are gathered in my name, I'll be there. This whole concept of having more than one person standing in agreement together, and how the power, the energy is multiplying in that. There is power in that unification. Ultimately, that's what we needed to be seeking, and I'm glad for those of you who are here that do have the same vision of the future as me. I know that a lot of my views are controversial and not accepted by the mainstream. They go completely against it. Um, so, yeah, I know that it's difficult, like I was saying before, to be unified, but I do appreciate those who are. And I appreciate those of you who stand against all of the corruption in our society and all of the lies and everything. I really appreciate what you do as a truther to help the community and to help spread the light to the world. So keep at it, even if you're shadow banned, you're not alone, and we can't do it without you. So let's stick together and make concrete steps towards manifesting the life that we want. I hope that you have a wonderful week. May God and the rest bless you.